Weathering the weather with Ed. Sometimes he's cranky, sometimes he's goofy, but he's always got a joke. Before I met him, I said meteorology. Hey, guy, that's not for me. But now I'm weathering the weather with Ed.
Yes, and that's me and Sam. Go ahead. Sam Bragdon, and what's your name?
Brendan Lerman, the one and only.
Yeah, you can remember Sam because he's familiar. And what are we doing today, Sam?
Doing a show on glacial retreat.
Right. But before we get started, there's a rumor that you recently had a birthday.
I did. I did recently have a birthday.
He's smiling.
Yes,
And
that's
for
Friday.
you, all right, here we go. Come on.
Happy birthday to you.
There it is. It's all for you.
Yes,
because,
we'll put it on the table here that's not here.
But I brought out paper.
Ooh, we're eating on
This
he'll probably throw the plate.
Look, it even looks like a
A picnic.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That's
Thank
nice.
you so much.
You have to put a napkin over your arm.
Yes, you have to put it. What? Yeah, where's the champagne? I'm 21. Let's go.
Hey, don't
I
think.
don't serve, sorry.
Yes, thank you so much.
Don't think. Him, I.
You did that?
That's right,
I'm
Bucko.
surprised. Thank you very much.
What do you mean I'm surprised?
I'm
All
su-
right. Now, we can have this a little later, right?
Yeah.
You can have we have an
doesn't
audience
like
today.
chocolate.
Well,
Studio audience.
no, don't do that.
He doesn't
What?
like chocolate.
We have one person in the audience today. The other ones are crickets.
Hey, we stopped at perfection. Okay?
All right. So now let's get ready here. You're in the show. Oh, there you are. All right. So we're gonna do glaciers, but first, there's several. I would like to read this, and so everybody knows what's going on. All right. A glacier is a large, persistent body of ice that forms where the accumulation of snow exceeds melting and sublimation. That was where you go from a solid to a vapor, right, boys?
Of course.
Precisely.
Thank you. And over many years, often centuries, this takes. All right. Glaciers form only on land and are distinct from the thinner sea ice and lake ice that are from surface bodies of water. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Correct.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My identical twin. Thank you.
Yeah. Born in Brooklyn.
99% of glacial ice is contained within vast ice sheets in the polar regions, but glaciers may be found in mountain ranges on every continent except Australia, because they're not high enough. Mountains
Fun
can't be
fact.
high enough.
I got a lot better things than glaciers. in
Never
Australia.
mind. And a few
Kangaroos.
high-altitude oceanic islands between 35 degrees north latitude and 35 degrees south latitude. Glaciers occur only in the Himalayas, the Andes. Himalayas occurs with India and with Tibet. And the Andes is South America, correct? And a few high mountains in East Africa, Mexico, New Guinea, which is an island in the Pacific. And I'm not going to get this right. Zarku in Iran.
Anyone know the
Yeah.
proper pronunciation
Yeah.
right there?
Any
I don't
Iranian
think so.
fans out there, please
Not done
comment.
yet. Knock it off.
Please write in.
Yeah, write in the
questions.
comments.
An ice sheet is a mass of glacial ice that covers surrounding terrain and is greater than 19,000 square miles. Your forest fires get up to that?
If I had
They
to fight a
wouldn't-
19,000 mile, it would be a bad day.
You wouldn't be
Okay.
there. All right, stupid question. We'll take that out. I take that as a no.
Yeah.
All right. Thus, also known as continental glacier, okay, the only current ice sheets are in the Antarctica and Greenland. Thank you very much. All right. So now, let's proceed with the questions here.
Let's.
First of all, Jim, do you have a question?
Not at this moment.
Thank you, Jim. One person in the audience has got no.
Yeah. Good job, guy.
Not at all. Go ahead. Who's going to do the first question?
All right. The first question is from Elizabeth Sattel in Harwichport, Massachusetts. She wants to know what signs of glacial retreat are found on Cape Cod.
Well, if I could find the right sheet, I'll tell her.
Experiencing some
Aha!
technical difficulties.
Here we go. I don't want to get anything wrong here because, I've sat on a glacier too many times. The geologic history of Cape Cod. We all know where Cape Cod is?
Yes, sir.
You know? Tell me.
It's like eastern Massachusetts.
Never
It's
mind. Never
a
mind.
peninsula off of
it is a-
eastern
It's
Massachusetts.
a peninsula.
All right.
Continue.
Geologic history of Cape Cod mostly involves the advance and retreat of the last continental ice sheet, named the Laurentide, after the Laurentian region of Canada, which is probably the Laurentian Mountains, I would think, where
Sounds good to
Montreal's in there, or Quebec.
I mean, I'm not Canadian, so I don't know.
You don't look any. Where it first found. sorry. Where it first formed, and the rise in sea level that followed the retreat of the ice sheet. Yes, on Cape Cod, these events occurred within the last 25,000 years, which is just. I'm not even. It's just nothing.
For you, it's nothing,
Thanks.
but for us, that's a long time.
Nothing. All right.
It's like a week.
Can be
A week for you.
Never mind. It can be dated using Robin. How about radiocarbon techniques? Carbon, it's an isotope, which is another form of the regular carbon, which is 12. Carbon-14 is radioactive. You can find out how old people are. And we found out you're 21.
I am 21.
Okay.
Unlike you. You are not.
I'm slightly older.
Times 4.
I'm 9.5 in dog years.
Whoa.
All right, the continental ice sheet maximum, Nissan, advances marked by gravel deposits on the continent. So there's material you'll see left behind. Okay? And they have there's a moraine, not a meringue. Moraine, terminal moraine, that's where the glacier stopped. The glacier gouges out material as it advances, but when it retreats, it just dumps the material, leaves it there. All right, now.
Next question?
Now we go. I think that answered that question. Should we go in what?
Yeah. What? I don't think we're going to have another question after that answer.
Well, that's okay. That works.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, we got a question from
Go ahead.
Edward Hummel of Garland, Maine. He was wondering.
Is he wondering?
Yes,
It's not Ed the Garland of Hummel, Maine? Go ahead.
Why are glacial retreat and ice cap disintegration such important indicators of global warming?
Gee, you actually read that correctly.
I don't know.
Amazing.
Well, we did learn how to read.
National Community College education.
Yeah.
All right.
Be a gent-
Because they've been around a long time, and their retreat indicates a warming of the climate. And anybody who doesn't believe that must be in the Republican Party. Oh, thank you.
Excuse me, sir. I happen to be a member of the Republican
I think
Well, you believe
majority
it,
of this
though.
room
I do
is.
believe it.
But
All right, continue on.
on to the next one.
By the way, I'd just like to mention, folks, that the clock to tell us how much time is left, it's sitting there at 28 minutes and 30 seconds. So I would like somebody to do something, if
Yes.
that's possible.
I'd like you to
Thank
start.
you very much.
You
Okay.
fast forward it.
Shut up. Go ahead. Who's got the next question?
I have got the next question.
You better come up with some questions.
Take that.
Now we're down to 0. Well, so long for 17 seconds. Oh, there it
Unfortunately,
is.
we're not at 0, so this must
Go
continue.
ahead. Go.
The next question is from Alexander Robertson.
Yes,
Of
Manchester.
Manchester, New Hampshire.
One of my fine students.
A very fine student. Unfortunately, asked a question, so you didn't teach him well enough. How can some scientists skew data to reflect on their own agenda and
It doesn't know on. It says reflect their
well,
own.
you know what? Your writing's all over this, man.
This
I
is
can't read it.
Go ahead.
Okay. How can some scientists skew data to reflect their own agenda and that of big corporations to deny that climate change and global warming exist?
I have a short answer for this. Money talks, folks.
Money talks, and we're not getting enough.
If they're going to be, we're not getting any. If they're being funded by these people, they're going to tell them you're wrong? I don't think so. Even you know that, right? Lerminator.
You called me Lerminator. It's a permanent
It
nickname
rhymes,
now.
it rhymes with the exterminator. All
Actually,
right,
hold
go
on a
ahead.
second. I do go
Terminator.
off topic here. We came up with a perfect nickname for you. We were watching the movie Gangster Squad the other day, and the villain's name is Mickey Cohen. So from now on,
He
you're
was a
Mickey
real-
Cohen.
Don't do that because he was a real criminal.
Yeah, but he's
Fits.
cool.
Was he from Brooklyn?
If the glove fits.
Yeah, he was
That's
from
what they
Brooklyn.
say.
I'm going to slap you with a glove.
He rode the 8 train.
Thank you. Go ahead.
With
All
this
right.
guy.
Next question, please. You can take
All right.
it. No, you had your shot. Oh. Did you read it? You read that one?
No, he
Did you read that question?
Sam did.
What's
I
going on?
can't wait for our new host to show up next
Sam
week.
read the last.
Thank you, the audience. Our new host next week will be a lovely young lady who's going to get these ratings up.
Not as lovely as Christy B.
You
We
haven't seen this one.
I miss Christy.
And this is, her name is, yes, Bethany Rivera. Okay? he makes himself laugh all the time. You're disgusting. Face the other way. Go ahead.
all right.
In general.
In general, why do people not care that we
are
are?
you sitting on something? Read it like a human.
All right. In general, why do people not care that we are consuming ourselves out of our greatest gift, the
The
earth?
That should have been. All right. Here we go. A little political commentary.
That was a deep question from a guy from
That was.
Manchester.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yes, sir. They are too busy with sports. Deny this, having a good time, right? and buying expensive items. Okay, that's what they're busy with. You can't argue it. The poor get a pass on this because they're trying to survive day to day. Okay, they're not the ones who are polluting this stuff. Who don't care. They don't care. They don't have an opportunity to. All right, that's my political statement, and there you go.
After this question, you're running for governor.
So you're claiming that the poor people don't have a chance to pollute the earth?
I'm claiming that we can't hold them, we can't bother them because they're trying to live. I mean, literally. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
First Republican.
Next question. All right. That one's been X'd out.
Eugene Gold.
Eugene Gold from Alexandria, Virginia.
Right.
Where are the largest glaciers, and will they be there in 50 or 100 years?
Well, if this climate change keeps up, the answer is
No.
no. All right. The largest glacier is the Lambert. Yes, sir. The Lambert, Lambert glacier. It's in East Antarctica, it's just opposite of West Antarctica. 260 miles. Get this thing. 260 miles wide. Say wow.
Wow.
Well, not like that. Like a human. Over 250 miles long, and approximately 2,500 meters deep. That's a big piece of ice there. I'll tell you. All right.
Could have a few drinks with that.
Next. Would taste good because it's got all the material on it.
All right. Our next question is from Joe Moran of
He got it
Greenville.
right.
Yeah.
He called me up the other day. He said, "Joe, I'm thinking of changing my name to Moran." Okay, go ahead.
I don't think he called you.
I heard that in there. Go ahead.
Joe Moran of Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yes.
And this fellow is wondering, what evidence indicates...
This fellow is a PhD, you turkey.
This doctor was wondering,
Yes.
what evidence indicates that much of New England was glaciated in the past?
Thank you, Joe. We already answered that. All right, move along. That one Elizabeth Sattel was ahead of him. And she worked at Harvard Press for many years.
Harvard?
Yes, and they keep their pinky up when they say it, Harvard. All right.
They do that.
And where did they park the car?
Harvard,
Harvard, yeah. Okay.
Oh, of course.
Go ahead.
This guy.
Next. Will you go ahead?
Next question?
Yeah, it's circled there in the middle. Dennis Lawler.
Oh, yes. Yes. Is glacial runoff crystal clear?
This is from Dennis Lawrence, Springfield, Illinois.
Yes, that guy.
No, it is not. It is filled with debris because it melts and there's all kinds of debris there. And so it gets mixed in. Go ahead. Pick up the pace, I guess.
All right.
So. You have a question there, sir? Yeah, right.
All right.
Go
and
ahead.
also from Dennis Lawler of Springfield, Illinois.
Are you still sitting on something? Go ahead. Oh.
All right.
How cold is it?
How cold is a glacier, or what is the temperature of the ice in the glacier?
This is in the ever popular, yeah.
Yeah, in the ever.
32 degrees, folks. Basically 32.
Cold.
Nippy. Yeah, but not.
I
little
wear a
chilly.
sweater.
We're from New England.
I wear a sweater.
Yeah, we're from New England. Just to wear a sweater.
Now, let's go to the audience briefly. And I mean briefly.
A follow-up to that question.
Jim is a expert on tornadoes because he...
Overland Park, Kansas.
Overland Park,
Overland or
Kansas.
Overland?
Overland Park, Kansas. Overland Park, Kansas.
But if you're from the OP, it's just Overland.
You talking to me?
And Sam was from Missouri as well.
I don't care where Sam was from. This guy's from Mars. Go ahead.
My
lot
question
better than
to
Brooklyn.
follow that up with the glaciers at 32 degrees, what would be necessarily when they would start to melt? At like what degree typically?
Over 32?
Over
It's
32.
just ice.
So would it like slowly melt if it's like 33?
Of course,
It'll
slow,
be-
just like ice here.
It'll be like the
It will
pace at which
slowly
it
melt,
melts.
but the moment, but you know, then the sun gets on it, so it melts even. All the air temperatures are in the shade. So if you take the temperature is 115, that's the shade, buddy.
Now, I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
On your stance on global warming, which I believe in as well, do you believe that there's anything that the human
I
race can
believe,
do
yes.
to reverse the effects of global warming?
Yes, that we can do.
Yes.
Stop polluting all over the place, especially.
But do you
China.
think that if we were to stop
Oh,
polluting...
we have cut back. It is basically China. Hi, how you doing? Hi, nice to see you. There's Marcus over there. You can't see him. Marcus, you look lovely today. Thank you. A little glare on top, but that's all right. What's the matter? My body's moving? Is it? I hate when they do this. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Huh? Oh.
Yes. Do you
We
remember?
have cut back a lot on pollution. The biggest problem now is China
Well,
and India.
the Chinese and the Indians,
Be
they're not
careful
going to
now.
stop. polluting because they are emerging into society. Is there anything that let's say,
What we can do?
yes,
Well, we can
Change the fuels you're using.
cut back on outsourcing jobs overseas.
What's that got to do with pollution?
There will be less pollution.
there will be less pollution in China
Absolutely.
if we stop outsourcing.
There will be less waste.
It's called forward thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one way of saying it, but I don't think so. No. How about switching the fuels, the more natural gas? The problem with that is they make this stuff more expensive.
They do. Now,
How about the oil shale? They have the oil deposits up in Canada. Let's use more of that.
we'll never get that pipeline built.
Of course not.
Political agendas are preventing it, but we're not going to get into
Yeah,
that.
you remember Congress. You remember them, don't you?
Congress.
You remember that?
Did they do anything
After-
there?
Yes, they went to the bathroom and then they adjourned for 5 weeks.
You know, if I had a half of their paycheck,
You'd
I
be
would be
rich.
very happy.
All right, I don't think we're supposed to do political here. That's democracy now. Which, of course, is on some other time, not to mention those crazy movies on Saturday night. My God.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
That would be a goodie. They couldn't
Great
possibly have
film.
that on. No. All right. So, all right. Now, I want to talk about as glaciers melt. There's a place in, yes, sir, Grindelwald, Switzerland. Okay, well, Marco Bammio, this gentleman here, recalls that bright Sunday morning in June 2006, as it were yesterday. Now, good for you, Mark. Mr. Bammio, he's 59. They don't care about that. All right. Suddenly, we saw the immense cloud. He said over coffee in a wood chalet typical of the Alpine village. Normally, it might have been snow, but in June, okay, this place is getting threatened by rocks falling off the mountains because the glacier was holding the rocks on the mountains in place. Not good. Not good
No,
when
it
that
sounds
comes down.
dangerous.
Because they'll
Well,
probably
why'd
have
you build your house so close to a pile of
it's
rocks?
this city. It's in trouble.
Even better.
Also,
Even better.
you know, when the glaciers melt, we bring up the problem of flooding, shall we say? If you're downstream from that.
It's unfortunate.
Melting's not good.
Get a boat.
Thank you. Would you be intelligent? here?
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark, yeah.
Wouldn't possibly get two of you. Oh, sorry.
Heyo.
Thank you.
Well,
All right,
then.
now the next one, I can't wait for Ms. Rivera to get here.
I can't wait for her to get here either.
You won't be here. Melting glaciers cause
I'll
one-third
be
of
here.
sea level rise, okay? How about that? One-third
crazy.
of the sea level rise. The world's glaciers lost 260 gigatons. Let me put it that way. Whoa, that's a lot of water there. A lot of
little
water.
bit of water.
Of
Could
water
fill the
each year
bathtub.
between 2003 and 2009, making these rivers of ice. Just Johnny Rivers? Rivers of ice responsible for almost a third of sea level rise in that time.
Wow.
Okay. If you want to look at this study on it appeared in Science magazine on May 17, 2013, which I believe was this year. Now, sea level, a little more. Sea level rise is caused by melting ice. Really, I didn't know that. Oh, sorry.
You didn't know that?
As well as from
Crazy.
as well as from the Greenland ice sheet and the Antarctic ice sheet. Sea levels also go up as the ocean warms. This is interesting because warm water takes up more space. Water contracts when it freezes. No, it expands.
It
when
expands, yeah.
All right, good. Nothing to do. Teasing out the influence of each factor can be tricky. But finally, here's a future melt. Cheese sandwich. Stop that. Antarctic glaciers lost the least ice overall, researchers found, because you remember spots, of the continent melting rapidly away were offset by regions gaining ice, all right?
I don't know what's going on right now.
Glaciers in the Canadian Arctic, Alaska, continental Greenland, the southern Andes, and the high mountains of Asia were vanishing rapidly, however. How
Really?
do you like them apples? Yeah. Glaciers alone were responsible for about 0.03 inches of sea level rise per year between, well, don't get too excited, between,
I have a great question for you.
hold on a minute.
This guy's from Kansas, you know. They don't come up with a lot of
There
great
have been a lot of
questions.
glaciers in Kansas, especially glacier ice cream. What is your question, sir?
My question to you, sir, with the rising sea levels, do you fear of cities or towns being
Hi,
flooded?
how you doing, Mark? Nice to see you.
Back to your question.
All right. Am I moving
Thank you,
too
Sam.
much? I'm breathing, Mark. What's your question? Yes, go ahead.
With the rising sea levels, are you afraid of cities
I'm not
or
afraid of
towns?
anything.
He's not going to be around
No,
to
from
be
Brooklyn.
afraid.
What's the question? Afraid of the Red Sox disappearing? They'll move inland. They'll be the Manchester Red Sox.
All right.
Continue.
Go ahead.
Are you afraid of cities or towns being flooded because of the rising sea levels?
Yes, sir. Keep it up, they will. Matter of fact, New York City has a new, you know, what the hurricane came up, Sandy, the basement, the subway got flooded. Not good. They're thinking of putting money in to help to save things. All right, there's an old saying.
First thing they need to do in New York City is get rid of the Mets. That'll help them out a lot.
Keep Matt Harvey, though.
I believe you meant the Yankees.
No, I meant, well, I don't like the Yankees either, but...
You keep moving this thing, I'm getting dizzy. All right. Now, here's glacial, this is great. Glaciers melting increase volcanic activity. This is a real paper, folks. July 20 came out the 29th of July this year. The melting of glaciers in Iceland will cause uplift. That means the land comes up.
Really?
And increase volcanic activity, according to a new research on the interplay between glacial melt and magma. Magma is molten material that hasn't made it to the surface.
Yeah.
When it gets to the surface, it's called lava.
Liquid hot magma.
Yeah. So that it increases the production under the Earth's crust. All right. Over the last decade, Icelandic glaciers have been receding as if things don't change. And if things don't change radically, the glaciers are likely to be completely gone in 150 to 200 years. I'm going to see that happens because I'm signed for the collision of the Andromeda and Milky Way galaxies. Thank you. Which is about 4 billion years.
What?
Other glaciers in Iceland are also steadily receding. Okay. You lift the pressure off the Earth with the ice, so there's more excitement going on underneath, and so the magma can come up to the surface.
It's very exciting.
Thank you. Well, if you're standing there, it's unexciting.
Well, you know.
All right. Don't tell me you got to do what you got to do, because that's...
You got to do what you got to do, okay?
Well, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sam.
All right. This is another exciting one. Scientists study global impact of Greenland's melting glaciers. Stop laughing.
We can't help but laugh at you.
As sea level around the globe, or better yet, as sea level around the globe rise, sea levels, researchers affiliated with the National Science Foundation, we should get a grant from them, and other organizations, Major League Baseball, I guess,
we'd have to do something
are studying the phenomena of melting glaciers and its long-term ramifications for local and worldwide as a whole. I know I shouldn't have let you come on. Warmer temperatures in Greenland have been a direct effect on the country's glaciers, altering the ways that people farm, fish, hunt, and travel across land. Okay, globally, here's what about New York City. Globally, sea level has prompted some leaders to take action. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, one of my people, recently proposed a $19.5 billion plan to boost the city's capacity to withstand future extreme weather events. You got something against the
Jews? Is he getting federal funding?
I'm not a minority. I don't know why we didn't get it for you.
Oh, Bloomberg, he's not going to be mayor for
now there's
longer, is he?
We got only a minute to go. Now there's one more thing I got here. I don't know the other one. By the way, some genius came up with a plan. They did computer modeling that towing an iceberg to a drought area is actually possible. And you can get there. For instance, towing an iceberg from somewhere around Newfoundland to the northwest coast of Africa would only take around 5 months.
But it wouldn't melt at all, though.
No, and could still, the operative word is could, and can still retain more than 60% of the iceberg's mass. The problem is this. Must be Catholic, huh? Mass? Okay. The downside, I don't know. The downside, it would cost about $10 million. I got that in my pocket right now. No, I don't. Okay, as temperatures, there's a Mendenhall Glacier in Alaska, and that's been melting, and they've been having floods in Alaska because of this. Not good. And also, as we're running out of time here, there was a plane crash in 1952, and it crashed on the glacier, and they knew where it crashed, but they located parts of it something like, 20 miles away because the glacier had moved it. And they're finding parts of the plane and people and equipment because the glacier's melting. All right. Next week 2 weeks from now is fog. When I have a new host there because I can't take you. Oh, sorry.
I can't take you either.
We're getting federal funding?
Federal funding?
Federal funding.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Her name is Bethany Rivera. All right. You have another question? We're over slide. But you have another question?
Thank you for your time, sir.
Oh, stop sucking up to me.
I have a question.
Although I love it. What?
Can we bring Christy B back?
We
She won't
need
go.
Christy B back.
That would be pretty nice.
We don't. You have
even
a
better
she
the
can't.
audience.
know her.
She can't because she doesn't want to come. She's going to the zoo in Amherst. She doesn't want to come back. All right, so,
So I'll just transfer there.
I guess we put on the old theme song there. I want to thank whatever your name is again for being a pain.
Bragdon Lerman.
And shut up. And Sam,
Yes.
Sam's going to Bahrain.
Yes, I am
Have
doing
a good
that.
time. Stay in touch, Sam.
I will try not to.
Thank you. All right.
Keep it clean.
Jim, say hello.
Stay safe.
Hi,
Yes.
Jim.
Oh.
Weathering
All right.
the weather with Ed. Sometimes he's cranky, sometimes he's goofy, but he's always got a joke.
You're awkward.
Before I met him, I said meteorology.
should
Hey
never
guy,
have
that's
you.
not for me. But now I'm
calling a
weathering the
parrot.
weather with Ed.
All right.